Hello and welcome back to Transport Fever 2, the UK modded series. Thank you very much for joining me in this video. Now, last time out, we were building this depot. So you can see this depot stretching out sort of towards the horizon with a race section over there. You might just be able to see the railways actually being raised up. That section is sort of incomplete, so the railways do just stop at buffers there, and then you can see one of the yards, or one of the depots, sorry, there is another depot there, along with all the sidings to create this massive yard that we have over here. Now, I have received some suggestions about this yard. One of the suggestions is to connect it up to a road. Great suggestion. I will be doing that today in some sort of fashion. Before we continue with the main bulk of this video. Another suggestion was that this was maybe a little bit too big, and I do agree. I think it is a little bit too big, and also that there should be perhaps more of a triangular way of doing it. If anybody's seen my Transport Fever series, the first series of Transport Fever 2, you'll notice what kind of triangular style depot junctions that were being mentioned in this particular comment. So there is that as well. Also, I've used these before in other Transport Fever series. I am probably not going to do that here, but somewhere else I might end up doing that. I might end up doing a depot that is just something along those lines. I think that might be a fairly good idea. So thank you for the suggestion. Today we are going to be, as I said, first of all connecting up a road to this, or I say connecting it up, it doesn't really connect, but we will be doing something to put a road near the yard to make it look a little bit better, more realistic. Also, we will be setting up bus routes in Lichfield and New Romney, and then for the bulk of this video we will be taking out a train from here and going along from Ely to Lichfield to New Romney on our new route. So make sure you stay tuned for that. So we are going to be having a ride along fairly soon in this video, and might as well get started because I think that covers pretty much everything. Right, first things first, as we said, we want a road. Now, I'm just going to peel the road off from here. I think that is probably a good idea, and I'm going to just join it up just about here. So if I just create a small road, let's try and find a road that is going to look fairly suitable. I suppose we could just use a dirt road like this, and look. It just sort of works, just sitting it in this area, and then all we need to do is run it right the way along here, and then I suppose we'll use a bit of a curve, and we can run it parallel to here, and then also just to ensure that we do get this parallel, we do that, connect that up. And that doesn't look too shabby at all. And then I'd say if we do a straight line like that, but that is probably not going to be the best of ideas. Also, I'd like to now remove perhaps just this section here. And the reason we cannot really use a straight line is because that is going to limit our lifting of this. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to use a straight line for a little while, until about there, and then I'm going to try and tee this off like so, and build it like that, and that should be pretty much okay. Now, of course, very quickly we have to go ahead and lock up this road, because otherwise things will just start building in this area, and we do not want to do that. We want to control the way the roads are built. Speaking of controlling the way roads are built, I am going to start looking into adding in the extra roads and expanding the town, ensuring that we do get that opportunity to make this work. But for now, we are just going to move over to Litchfield, where again there are going to have to be a lot of roads placed, and we are going to, let's see, first of all we are going to find a spot for the bus depot, or for the depot full stop. So buildings, depots, old style road depot. Could you fit directly alongside here? You could. What's about here? No, it's going to mess up. It's going to mess up that design if I do it there. So this is our option, and I think this is an option I can take. So I'll go ahead and do that. That is not too bad. Now let's go over to New Romney and look at the same thing. Now New Romney is a little bit busier, so I need to look into this a little. And I think a good place for a bus depot is probably going to be near the station. And I'll go ahead and place it about here. Now these might change, these might move. In fact, that is changing immediately, as the angle on that is woeful. There we go. Much better. Right, let's go ahead and set up a bus route. In fact, before we set up a bus route, I just want to ensure that this road is completed, because this one looks quite interesting. I think it needs to just be a medium road here, and I will upgrade this to a medium road and lock up. Oh, these have not all been locked. Interesting. I have a bunch of roads here that are not locked. That could cause problems. It's a good thing I noticed that. So that could cause some very serious problems. It just start putting roads absolutely everywhere. And I most certainly do not want that. There we go. Right. So we are now going to look at putting in some bus stops. Now go away street traffic. And what's this road depot? That's rather nice. I might end up using some of those. Let's go ahead and place some standard bus stops, city transport, and we shall have the bus stop. So we have one there. I think we require one over here. We also require one over here. It can go this way, up this road, up to this junction. We'll have one over here. Then we will come down this road, and I think we should have one over here. And that should complete the entire town. So let's go ahead and make the routes 2 new lines. Apparently I've already done the bus stops. Did I do this in the last video and I haven't realised? I might have. Okay, in that case, there is some changes I want to make to these. So apparently I have done this. Okay, well, let's start by making some changes here. After Mill Lane, I'd like you to... Oh no, that's not right. PARD New Romney 01. No, after Mill Lane, I'd like you to go over here and here. I think that is pretty good. And then I'm going to get rid of North Road and instead add in Mill Road. Now, why does it want to turn around like that? I'm just a little confused as to the turnaround, because surely it could go up here, and apparently this road isn't connected, and that is why it has to do the turnaround. Okay, you're fine like that. That's fine. And then New Romney 2 We do not have North Road, so we're going to go New Romney sidings. From there, rather it goes to there, 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 and then back to Mill Lane. Now let me fix up this little section of road, which I have no idea. Oh, I know what's happened. This was probably a farm, and it's turned it into a road. There we go. Now that's connected, we should have everything running correctly. Great. Okay, let me go check in Litchfield then. Did I actually... No, I didn't do Litchfield's ones. Right, okay, so that is something I do need to look at. I want to place a medium road here. I'd kind of rather demolish that and then do that. Upgrade this road here. Lock the road out. Oh, I haven't locked any of these roads. Again, points that I need to... Things that I need to remember to do every time I'm working on these, to avoid trouble. I'm sure I need to go back to New Romney and do that on there we go, this section of road. Just here. Okay. So that's now done. Now to figure out Litchfield. Well, it looks like this one was going to be a road right here. So I'm going to upgrade this road and then potentially just do that. And then I'll go ahead and lock up this road. That gives me quite a loop that I want. And then take a quick peek for bus stops. There are none, so I will add in the bus stops here. So we have one there. I think we should have one here. Then I think we should go this way. Ideally I'd like to go that way, but I think for now this way is a good idea. This really needs to be a major road here. Can I can. I was going to say, can I somehow increase that to a major road? And it looks like it is possible. And I'd like to try the same for this road to see what happens. That looks like that's working as well. So essentially the roads that go West Mersey and that area. So I've done that. And immediately they've started building. Of course they would, because why would they not? Absolute pain they are. I will build the roads, thank you very much. Not you. Up this way. There we go. And along here. This is something that I will be focusing on in another video, starting to get these roads sorted out properly, but for now, there we go. Awesome. Right, bus stops, back to where we were. So we have a bus stop there. I think I'll probably put a bus stop along here, and I will place a bus stop along this road, and then coming back along here, I think having a bus stop here is great, and then the rest of it can be covered by that. So let's go ahead and create what do you mean New Romney 2? How's that? There it is, it's gone. Right. PARD Litchfield 01. Is that how I spell Litchfield? No, it's not. It doesn't have a T in it. It's Litchfield, not Lit. There you go. Litchfield. I should know that. Really should know that. Nice bright red. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks reasonable to me. I might at some point end up going up there. Might end up doing a bunch of other routes, to be fair. PARD Litchfield 02. And for this one, we are deepening the red, and oops, and we go backwards. There we go. Job done. Right. So that's that now sorted. Now all we need to do is get the vehicles out. So we are going for, oh wow, we have a coal merchant cart now. One thing that is going to happen is we are going to be working on some, we are definitely going to be working on some cargo pretty soon. So I do need to look into that. So how many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So we have 6, so I think we should have 6 stagecoaches, of course, in bright red, going on to just the ones that I can see, please. There we go. And then similarly, come on. Oh yeah, it's already there. 6 stagecoaches in a not so bright red, going over on this way, this side. Moving down to New Romney, we shall do the same thing. Now over here it's much smaller. We're looking at 5, so we will go ahead and do 5. So we will have 5 stagecoaches in that direction, bright red, like so, and then another 5 stagecoaches in a much deeper red, doing that and going in that direction. Job done. Right, so now we have the road vehicles running around. All we need to do now is keep an eye on this. This is all such a mess here. Nothing looks right in terms of era, which is quite annoying. But I'm going to have to do something about that. Things will change, as I said. But things for now look okay here. So all we need to do is we need to purchase some vehicles. Let's see what vehicles we can have for this. So obviously we're still in Steam. There isn't any weird multiple units, are there? Right, and we're looking for... these look pretty nice, to be fair. I like the large wheel on that, although... Has that got a small... I'm not sure that's a freight one. That's got a very large wheel there. The Crampton engines. I'm not too keen on that. Definitely don't want a Borsig style Samsung class. That isn't too bad. I think Samsung class is probably a nice one. To be fair, Samsung or Newton class. The Newton class is much faster. Samsung class is slower, and then we've got Problem class. I'm not even going to ask. Then we have the rebuilt Cornwall, which is rather fast. So Samsung class, I think, is our option. Let's go ahead and set the color for this. Oh, that is a little bit red, isn't it? Let's go ahead and set it for a deepish red. I just want to see what it looks like. I'm sure I'll end up changing it at some point. And we're going to be going for some LNWR coaches. And we're going for some fairly... Right. That can carry 7. That can carry 5. That can carry 10, but it's a 6-wheel coach. I think we should probably go for... This one's got a better passenger to mass ratio, so let's use this. Used on early express trains and later on suburban services. Well, yeah, sure. We can carry 30. And let's do 25. And I'm going to create, so we've got one station, then we're going to have, so you have one in one block, one in another block. We really need 4. I think 4 engines is the right way to go. Let's go ahead and do this. Apply. And then set it up on the route. It's going to be Ely to New Romney. And we are about to immediately jump on board one of these. In fact, let's first of all take a quick look at what they look like. Okay, apparently the colours do not translate all too well. Steve, might need some assistance on this one, please. let's go ahead and get ourselves into a nice comfortable position here. In fact, to be fair, I'd like to first off pause that, because I think I've got an opportunity for a really nice yes, I thought as much. Here's an opportunity for a really nice screenshot. Something along these lines. Thank you, autosave. You're getting in the way. It might be. I'm just trying to find a... actually, perhaps, whilst autosave's doing whatever it needs to do, I can go ahead and do this. That just shows something pulling out of the depot. Which, that could kind of work, I think. As a potential screenshot. Let's take one of them. That probably is not my finest screenshot. In fact, guaranteed that is not my finest screenshot. But let's go ahead and settle down for a trip. Oh, I need to delete those. I need to delete those multiple wagons, don't I? Because they're messed up. It didn't align with the terrain, unfortunately. But let's get ourselves underway and see what we've got. Right, it's currently red light. I was expecting that, because there's probably trains waiting to go everywhere on the main line. Well, 1, 2. It's either got stopped. Now, the only thing I can think is it's got stopped by the main line from Bracknell to Earley and beyond, Bracknell to West Mersey, because it cannot really get stopped by the other one. Yes, in fact, I can hear a train, so that is what has stopped it. There it goes. If that's not bad to see, you can actually see a train going off doing what it needs to do, another train waiting to leave. I'm quite pleased with that. So, I shall probably not be talking much through this one because, well, we're just going to be enjoying well, there you go, the semaphores showing us as a clear signal. We're just going to be enjoying the ride, I suppose, the journey. Pulling out onto the main line now, so we should start accelerating beyond 10 miles per hour. And there we go. Although we're picking up, but there is a red signal, so... Oh no, that signal's cleared for us. There we go. I do like the sound on this train. It's very nice. Smoke's a little bit more darker than I would like it to be, but that's okay. I'm not sure why it's heading for Lichfield first, since, you know, we're in... Well, we have Earley right here, so I'm not sure. We are stopped at another signal though. Oh no, wait, that's straight to green. Awesome. that? On the right hand side, I didn't even see that. I was looking down, and then I looked up and just saw some like a puff of black smoke, like something had been demolished perhaps. And here we go, onto the new track, 40 miles per hour, all the way to Lichfield. So obviously one thing to remind people is that this track has not been detailed yet completely. There are little bits, as you can see over here. I tried to do a little bit of detailing, but there is a lot of detail missing. It's just got vague detail like farm borders and the fencing, and that is really about it. This is nice. I do like this. So we do have a road. I have no idea where that road goes. I think that road does go to Lichfield. So I'm sure we'll be able to turn that into an A road at some point. But considering where Lichfield is and what roads go nearby, and we could turn this entire area into some sort of spaghetti junction. That would be interesting. For those people who are not from the UK, I do suggest you search up Spaghetti Junction to see one of the strangest junctions in the UK. It is a connection of, I'm just trying to remember how many roads connect to that. So it's the M6, it is the main road that goes through it. Then there's also, and this is in the Birmingham, this is north of Birmingham. So there's the M6, the A38M, which is a motorway but not a motorway, because the A38M sort of turns into the A38, but it's been given motorway status because I think of how busy it is and the way it's been upgraded. I do like this little cut through the terrain here, where I've made some rocky cliff face kind of things, not just grass, though I think I do need to improve that a lot more. But yes, it's the M6, the A38M, the A5127, what other roads are on this? I know there are a bunch of other ones. The A38 itself, so you've got A38M, A38, and it sort of just twists in all sorts of directions. There's Lichfield Road on this as well, which is the 5127. So the 5127 goes sort of underneath it all. Then there's a roundabout, and then over the roundabout there's a flyover and it allows you to double back on yourself and everything. And it's a very complicated junction when you look at it on a map. But once you're used to it, it's actually rather easy to use. I think it has like 4 or 5 levels. So I think at some point there is 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think there are four levels, and then it's 4 levels and a railway underneath it all to add to that. So yeah, you've got that as well, which is rather interesting. Which is why I was talking about the whole Spaghetti Junction thing. We've got the railway. We could actually mess around a little bit with it and try and do a really wonky junction where you've got the railways and the roads and roundabouts and all sorts of things. I think that would look quite interesting. Excellent tunnel. It looks like I've missed some fencing there. Interesting. I'm just thinking whether 40 miles per hour is a little bit slow for this. Probably not in this era, but I think as soon as we start getting to sort of the 18... Oh no, that part of fencing is supposed to be missed. As soon as we start getting maybe into the 1880s, I need to start looking at speeding things up, 50, 60 miles per hour. By the time we get into, you know, the 1910s, I want some trains to be able to do 70, 80 quite happily on the main line, and these sidelines to be able to do at least 50. I think that is really going to help. But of course we need to improve the amount of passenger throughput, and to do that we need to be able to supply cargo and ensure that there are good roads, good connections, this, that and the other. So there is a lot that needs to be looked at. Coming up to another level crossing now. I think this does look pretty good overall. Litchfield is not too far away from here. We should be coming back up to double track just after we end up going through, so at the end of these woods we should be going back to double track if I remember my track layout correctly. There it goes. Hopefully everybody is enjoying their Tuesday. For those people in the UK, temperatures have dropped massively outside, very suddenly, from nearing 30 degrees Celsius outside, and certainly in my room well in excess of 35 degrees Celsius, and humidity at an all-time high, and thunderstorms to being dropped to like 15, 16 degrees Celsius, which is just a massive drop. I'm sure temperatures will be going up, but for now this gives me a good opportunity to record without worrying about computers overheating or having to try and cool my room down with a fan before I record, and then boiling away, well, I say boiling away, but you know, incredibly warm whilst I'm recording, and you know, having to run fans on my laptop or computer higher than I should, and then having extra noise and things like that. So this is all very good for me. We have 16 of 25 passengers going towards New Romney now. So one thing I thought of is that if I had traffic signals just going in one direction, so for example from Ely to Litchfield, having signals only in one direction allowing trains to queue up, and then from Litchfield to New Romney, or specifically from New Romney to Litchfield, having signals in that direction, I wonder if that would improve the way the trains run. Obviously I'm going to be going up to the timetable mod, but I'm waiting for the summer update for Transport Fever to be coming out, which I believe should be released in a few weeks' time. And I want to see what that brings and what mods obviously it breaks. Hopefully it doesn't break any mods. And from there I want to see what we can do and whether the timetable mod is needed, which by the way is a fantastic mod. If you have not used the timetable mod, I do highly recommend you go check that out. It's a really good mod if it's still around. I'm sure it's still around. But I used it and I thought, oh, this brings in a whole new level of detail to this game. But then I saw the announcement by Urban Games that they're adding in some sort of better timetabling for trains, and I thought, ooh, okay, this could be interesting. This might really help the series. We still have about probably three or four episodes, including this one, before that does happen, though that update is applied. And by that time, what I'm intending to do is I'm intending to have another time-lapse video where I get a lot of the farms once again in, and maybe start looking at colouring a number of things, painting in soil and all of that kind of stuff. Adding in sheep, someone said that we need sheep, so adding in sheep. Speaking of sheep, I'm not sure if you can see them, but you cannot. But up in the field over there are sheep. I assure you, I have placed sheep in a field up there. So there you go. I think it isn't this one. I think it might be the other tunnel. Thank you for the comments also about the tunnels, the air shafts, the air shafts in the tunnels. I really appreciate that. So short tunnels have one or none, and longer tunnels have more than one, which makes sense. Short tunnels wouldn't need them because the air would naturally flow through and out of the tunnel with the trains going through, and you'd have it following the streamlines, and that would be quite easy to go through. Whereas in a long tunnel, you'd end up with lots more turbulence, and the air would start getting sort of clogging up in a certain area, and you'd end up with a lot of smoke and everything. Any sort of what's the right term for it? I was going to say amalgamating. That isn't the right term. Converging, that's the right term. You just have a convergence of all of this, and you really do not want that. So you want it to be able to go out, and on a longer tunnel you'd have more. So I just was unsure as to how they do it, because I've never. I'll be honest. I've seen plenty of tunnels. I think I've only ever seen one air shaft. That's because I could see the tunnel from a distance away. I knew where the railway was coming out, and I think it was from the M25, London Alderton motorway, and you see where the tunnel goes in, because it goes under the M25, and you see it come out in the distance. And so that was where I was thinking. I remember seeing a tunnel shaft there. That's the only place I've seen it. Everywhere else, obviously, it's hidden by trees or somewhere in the middle of the countryside. Again, oh no, that was another crossing. I was going to say, I seem to be randomly missing fence posts and rails. That's supposed to be happening. Here we go, back to the double track. So another thing that I'm thinking of doing is that if I were to place a signal, for example, right here, the train could still continue all the way to the station, and we wouldn't have to worry about another train waiting. That being said, it might be easier for this, because then the train in the opposite direction can get going on its way back. I'm not sure how this is going to pan out, so I'll be honest. I really am not entirely certain as to how this is going to pan out. Anyway, we are now approaching New Romney, and it looks like there are some people, quite a few waiting. Okay, could you stand a little bit further back from the line, please? Really appreciate that. I see what somebody mentioned that these platforms are really low, and they really are. Right, that's a full train. That is interesting. That's a full train, and there are a lot of people waiting. This is going to make this journey quite an interesting journey. And on our journey back now. So I'm now thinking that, given what I was just saying earlier, we probably are going to get held at a signal. The advantage of this, though, is that we get to go a longer distance before we are held, which means that though the train is coming towards us, we are going towards the train, and that distance that we're going to be held should be somewhat shorter. Apparently we are not being held. So does that mean the second train has not yet reached Lichfield? Or the second train is on its way on that double track as well. So again, that in a way this is a proof of, for me, this is a proof of concept of the design of these single track railways. And I certainly think that this one is going to remain a single track railway. I do not see this one becoming a double track railway in any which way. It doesn't make sense to have double track railways everywhere. And certainly if it's only going through two towns, I see no reason for it to be double tracked. Whereas the other ones, if we're going through, I would say if anything that goes through more than 4 towns, 4 or 5 towns, will be double tracked for certain. Anything that has 3 towns, including the 2 terminuses, should be single tracked, in which case that messes up my entire idea of the West Brom line, which I believe I've double tracked. But then the West Brom line has two different railways going through it, so the railway has 2 different routes going through it, or schedules, so therefore it probably needs to be double tracked, whereas this is only ever going to have the one going to Ely. So there we go, that's sort of thinking that I'm trying to come up with. This is going to look really nice, I think. The question is, which side? Do I take the side with the iron? No. I'm going to, if I go over here, so we're on the road and we're looking at, no, that doesn't look great. From up here, this could, I do need to find a spot. Maybe if I do this, turn around, this could potentially work. So I want to ensure that we can see, no, it's got to be the uphill. I want to ensure that we can see the farms, because obviously I've put in a lot of efforts on said farms. So being able to see the farms is quite important. Being able to see the tunnel, however, is also similarly important. There we go. That's not too bad. That is not too bad. Just keep going. Keep going. Right, let's fast forward this. So we're going to check. Let's check out where this is going. So this? No, the train isn't. There it is. How have I done that? This train is barely going to be held. How have I done that? I haven't got a clue how that one's happened. How much do you have? 21 of 25. There are a lot of people. How many want to go back to Ely? 21 there. Obviously we've got the 3 there because we've just picked up 21. Let's see how you do. 23 of 25, so that's pretty good. Still have 1 wanting to go to Ely, and you've got passengers here at New Romney. Sorry, at Lichfield. Things are certainly looking up here. And how are we looking on this side? We do have a train waiting here with how many? Nobody. Obviously you're going to Lichfield. Meanwhile, Ely is going to be incredibly busy because it has a bunch of people wanting to go now on 3 lines. This is of course going to end up being a much larger station. I might end up having to swap the station around and just add extra. Now this is definitely going to change massively, this area. But here we are, and then we have you, which is a Bracknell West Mersey one, and you, which is Bracknell West Mersey as well. So 35 of 35 there, 23 of 35 there. Where's that train? That train's almost here. I'm guessing there's 1 train still waiting in the depot. Yes, there is. You're still waiting in the depot. Now I wonder if no, this is probably for the best, the way this has been set up, where it skips this first one. West Brom to Ely also has 16 people waiting. 16, there were 17. I guess somebody gave up and decided they're going to take a bus. Oh wait, there's no buses that go there. Not at this point in time. What on earth is a palm tree doing here, might I ask? Right, there we go. Similar sized trains. You now have 24 of 25. You have 24 of 35. You're going to wait there for this one to clear, which is fine. You're coming in 35 of 35. You're now clear. You go along. Everything is working quite well. And now you're clear to... we are about to have a problem. Yes, we're about to have a problem. Right, and to solve this problem, all I can do is I need to move this train along. Otherwise this is going to cause major issues. So there we go, I'll move the train along. Much better. So now this train can come in and do what it needs to do, because that was going to be a problem. That's 24 going back to West Brom to Ely, so that's going back to West Brom. Oh wait, I didn't double track this line. Where did I double track? I might have done it by... this I double tracked, and I think this was a mistake. I did not mean to double track it, I just started double tracking and just continued without really realising. This section does need to be double tracked with the amount of traffic going through, but this section realistically should only have a single track. Does not need, really does not need two at all. Should I just go ahead and try and single track it? I'll have to have a look, because I might end up building this a lot further, in which case the tracks are going to certainly have to be better than what I've got. We also have these depots over here, which are still going to be in use, but obviously I think we're going to have 1, 2. This is the main depot. We'll have 1. This depot will probably be shut. This Bracknell train depot there. But we'll have those 2, and then I will probably have another depot maybe down in Ollerton or Croydon, or there, another large depot, and perhaps one more down at the bottom, and I think that will be all the depots we need. Right, just ensuring that everything is running smoothly now, and I think it is. Yeah, 14 of 35. Which one are you? 22 of 25. Let's have a look at who's making money. Obviously we do not have costs on, but at least shows what is and isn't making money here. So you can see the Ely to New Romney one really is not making any money, but it is new, so there is that to take into account to see what we can do. On the other hand, the Bracknell to West Mersey one is making some serious money with 8 vehicles, 3 million. And the Cornforth food processing one, I'll get that right in a minute, is also making a fair amount of money, despite the fact that we really have not been looking at this for a long time. But it does seem to just be getting along. What I am not happy about is the way the title looks at where it needs to gather food from. So for example, it's filling this area up, but realistically it could still be producing a lot more food here, and that would be fine for this, and we would have a much better situation, but it doesn't seem to be wanting to do that. Looking at Cornforth, we have 1 food coming in here, which is just, I'm not understanding the mechanics here. In Bracknell we have 6. It doesn't make any sense to me, and 1 in Macclesfield. Given that we have so much food waiting, you'd think that they'd want to get it to the nearest town first, Cornforth, and then get it to other towns. but it doesn't seem to, just doesn't seem to work like that, unfortunately. And if we just do that, you can see that Bracknell Food is 122 seconds. Cornforth is 75 seconds. So really, this should be your top, your go-to first before anything else. But it doesn't seem to be doing that. Anyway, I think with that, I'm going to end this video. As I said in the next video, in fact, let's forward a couple of years. 1870. There we go. We have some new vehicles available as well. Oh look, we could finally get rid of the horse-drawn stagecoaches, so that could be interesting. Got a fair amount of vehicles available to us. Might be something to have a look at. But what I'm thinking of doing, in fact, let me just double check if it... No, that's the wrong one. If this is going to be possible. Nope, that was the wrong button. UK. It is now going to be possible because, as you can see, things are now unlocked. The things that I wanted to be unlocked. So, now that we have these houses unlocked, what my idea is, and you can see here that the way things are going to build, what's my idea is I'm going to start building up roads and start actually populating with these houses. But I also want to be completing up the farms. So what I will do is maybe in the next video I'll do a time lapse where I really start putting in a lot more farms. Then I'm going to look at the towns that we already have and plan up with the roads and start putting some housing down. Then we're going to look at freight, try and get some additional freights going. Then we will expand the railways and start adding in more and more towns and build up from there. If you have other ideas, other suggestions, please do let me know. I'll tell you something though. One of the places I wanted to do this was West Mersey. Before we finish, let's have a quick look at this and let's see if this pans out the way I want it to. But if, as I said, if you do have any other ideas, I would really like for you to let me know. We are going to enable, we're not going to enable the garden, we are going to enable fence, and we won't do both sides. I'd like to, in fact, if I do both sides, how does it look? Yeah, I'd like to control the sides manually. We've got different, I like the dark ones, but we'll stick with bright. Everyone with the same roofs, that generally that looks how it should. Random door colours is about right. Random fence colours is also pretty much right. Now, this is why I built these straight roads, by the way. This is exactly the reason I did this. And I'm going to stick these on in groups of 4. I want to see how this actually ends up looking to end this particular video. So, we have 1. Why groups of 4, you might ask? Because if I do not do this in the groups of 4, we might end up with some trouble with terrain. So I'm trying to get this to align nicely on terrain. So you can see that those are slightly higher, and I very much do not mind having tiny little gaps in these buildings, because I think that would work quite nicely. And then at the end we'll just place 2 with a much larger gap. And you know what, I'm fairly happy with that. I am pretty happy with that, and you'll notice that this should spawn a whole heap of population. There you go. That's, yep, I'm pretty happy with that. That's just given me a whole bunch of ideas as to what I can do. And that is, well, I can tell you now, that road right there looks far more British than anything else in this town so far, and that is exactly what I want. So thank you very much for watching. please remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel to see this, because this is going to be happening. Leave a comment in the comments box below. Let me know what you think, any ideas you might have. If you can do so, please do consider supporting me on Patreon at www.patreon.com/ECGadget. Your supports would be massively appreciated. It would really help me out. And also, you can find me on social media at ECGadget LP for both Twitter and Instagram. That is all from me, and I will see you next time in Transports Fever 2, the UK series, where, as I said, we're probably going to be looking at a time lapse where I try and get a whole heap of farms in, as many as I can, as many as I have the time to do. So I'm looking at certainly this area, and all of this area at the very least, down to Berwick-upon-Tweed, and if I can get down further down the market and fill up the Shepton Mallis area as well, that would be really great. And that just helps, because it means that I'm that much closer to finishing the entire map. And as you can see, there is still quite a ways to go. We are I think we're just about getting to halfway through the farmland, and then of course we need to start painting things and all of that kind of stuff. So I'll be doing some of that maybe off camera, but a bunch of it will most likely also be on time lapse. Anyway, that is all from me, as I said, and I will see you next time in Transports Fever 2, the UK modded series.